welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, joined today by Billy Nelson. Billy, how are you, mate?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks. Cheers.
Good. Right, let's get straight into it. So, Bakole, he signed for Boxer. What were the reasons behind that? Because I've seen you saying you've had different offers from different companies. Why Boxer in Sky Sports?
I believe Ben Shalom is a young, ambitious promoter, and he works alongside a guy called John Wishausen, who I have 100% trust in. So it was an easy decision to make once we agreed the terms.
But in terms of their stable of heavyweights, I mean, they've got Joseph Parker, Hughie Fury. Are we looking at those type of fighters for Martin Bakole's next fight?
No. Martin's by far the best heavyweight they've got. By far. Just with respect, Just has been offered the fight and declined it. He is by far the best heavyweight. He's number one in the WBA rankings. He's 6 and 7 in the IBF and WBC. So, we are looking to fight for world titles in the next, before the year's out, easily.
I've also seen you mention online that you'd like the Daniel Dubois fight for Martin for that WBA regular belt. Is maybe that's what's next, like in terms of the next fight for Martin? Is that the one we're looking for?
It wouldn't be his next fight because Daniel's injured and we can't wait on Daniel.
True.
But it's highly likely that we'll either be called mandatory or we'll have to fight a final eliminator for Daniel. I believe that whoever wins between Usyk and Fury, they'll vacate the WBA, and even if they don't, and Daniel fights the winner, then the regular title becomes vacant. Then Martin still fights for that. Yeah.
Well, if neither of them do vacate, and you've got Fury or Usyk, is he ready? Is he ready for those types of fighters?
Who? Daniel?
No. If Fury or Usyk end up vacating the belt and Martin wins the eliminator as such?
No, it would be Daniel. It would be Daniel that fights for it because he's a regular champion.
Yeah.
But if they vacated that title, Daniel would then become the full champion, and he'd have to fight Martin Bakole.
Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to say is Martin Bakole close to those fights? Like, how far away do you think he is to being on that level, ready for a Fury or for a Usyk fight?
Martin would fight them tomorrow. Martin's ready now. I mean, he's sparred Usyk and done magnificently well. So why? So there's no fear of Martin fighting either Usyk or Tyson. Tyson for me is the best heavyweight on the planet, but Martin would have no fear fighting him.
I saw that Michael Hunter yesterday said that he'd happily knock out Bakole again, and I was just wondering if I could get your thoughts on that, because he's the only loss on Bakole's record. Would Bakole like to change that?
100% he wants to change it, but what Michael's forgetting to add in is his wee spiel is that he got offered the opportunity in November and December to fight Martin, of which he declined because he had promotional issues allegedly and allegedly managerial issues. Hence, he get kicked out the rankings. So Martin's Michael's doesn't appear to be the most reliable guy, shall we say, to rely on.
I understand.
Hence, he's not had a fight for 15 months.
The last one on Bakole, he's obviously signed with Boxer now. When can we see him out next? What's the plan?
We'll be fighting in April.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. But sticking in the heavyweight division, Anthony Joshua is fighting Jermaine Franklin next in just over a month. Is that the right fight for Joshua?
It's a good fight for Joshua. I mean, Franklin, in my opinion, done more than enough to beat Dylan White. get the wrong end of a decision, in my opinion, and many others. A big good test for Joshua. See, hopefully, going over to America is maybe give him a wee wake up call that he did need, because I personally think he's reached his peak. But we'll find out. We'll maybe find out a wee bit more about him after this fight. Because he's put pressure on himself by saying after the fight against Dylan White that Dylan White should have knocked him out. So if Dylan White should have knocked him out early, then surely he shall.
Yeah. But as a man who knows his boxing, I was wondering if I could get your opinion on AJ's comments about his motivation at the minute being money. Like in his press conference, that's what he said, that money's a big motivation for him at the minute. Is that the right thing to be motivated by at this point of his career?
Well, I don't know any boxer that's not motivated by money. Anybody that tells you any different is a liar. They're not in it to get it's not a tickling competition. They're in there getting their heads punched. You know what I mean? It's no a game. It's a very physical, demanding, mentally demanding sport. And you want your rewards, your just rewards for doing it, and it, you know, he's getting such rewards.
In terms, just moving on from,
but you can't. On the flip side, you can't start moaning when it goes against you.
Yeah, exactly. But moving on from Joshua now, with Fury and Usyk, the papers are saying that the Saudis aren't interested and that the fight's looking to be placed somewhere else. What do you think to the whole situation? Because 1 minute it's going to be in Saudi, and then it's who gets most of the split. I would never see this fight.
I think quite rightly the promoters held out as long as they possibly could to get both boxers. I mean, see if you're getting X amount in the UK, you're going to get a fair whack more than that in Saudi. But I think they've waited as long as they could to get a deal done with the Saudis, and it's transparent. It's not going to be working. It's not going to work over there. So it looks as though it's going to be at Wembley on the 29th of April, which I'm personally pleased it's there. You know, no away over there in front of a couple of thousand people with no interest in boxing whatsoever.
And next in the heavyweight scene, you've got Joe Joyce. He's fighting Zhang soon. I think that's a great fight, but it's interesting because where does the winner of that fight, no matter who it is, where do they go next?
Well, like Martin Bakole and Daniel Dubois, we're waiting on the Fury. The Fury. Well, there's one thing 100% guaranteed is if Tyson Fury wins against Usyk, then he'll be given the WBO up because Frank Warren's other fighters. Oh, I think the WBO and the WA will be given up, and that means Frank Warren's then got 3 options on 3 different belts. Tyson Fury will still be the IBF and WBC. Daniel Dubois will fight for the WBA, and Joe Joyce will fight for the WBO. But at least they might get 2 out of 3 because he'll not. Daniel Dubois will not be beating Martin Bakole, that's for sure.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking, mate. But the last question from me: where do you see yourself this time next year? You know, it's the start of the year. We've got a big year ahead for yourself, Martin, and your other fighters. Where do you want to see yourself come the end of the year?
Well, I'd like to go another unbeaten year. We've not lost a fight since Martin lost against Hunter in 2018. So I'd like another undefeated year, and I'm really looking forward to watching the new guy that I've got in the gym, Zubrek. He's some fighter, the Kazakhstan fighter. Sultan Zubrek, what a fighter that boy is, and I'm telling you, he's going to open some eyes this year. And by the end of the year, Martin should certainly be the world champion, I would hope. If given the chance, he'll be the world champion. There's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter if he's fighting Usyk or Daniel. He'll beat either.
Well, mate, I hope it happens. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Billy Nelson, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, mate. All the best.